Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of WoW Talks. This is the third episode where we take your comments and make them into a whole of discussion on the topic, which will be presented at the end of the video. But for now, we have to talk about the best raid in World of Warcraft.
Oh man, we discussed our favorite raids last time and asked you guys to submit your favorite raid. So the first comment that we will be looking at today is from our boy Karazhan, who said, best raid? For me, most iconic one is ICC, but raid I love the most is Temple of Ahn'Qiraj.
Ooh, okay.
This is a very spicy. I kind of secretly pray for a rework, you know, Sword and Silithus and so on. Oh.
Good point, man.
Yeah. Simply love how Blizz made Cthulhu creepy. Voice acting is just brilliant. Oh, I can hand you that one. There's no other old god that was as creepy and scary. Fair enough, man. I mean, when I heard the voice lines that were in the raid, it was like, oh my god, where is this guy? And tentacles with eyes spawning from the ground.
I know, man. I'm a bit fired up by his comment on maybe they'll rework that shit. I mean, it does. We do have that sword over there for no reason at the moment. It's serving no purpose, right? So I don't think we didn't catch like the whole moment, right? When they, what was that? The opening of Ahn'Qiraj and everybody surfing.
Oh, I didn't catch it. No,
I didn't either because I started in BC. But that would be amazing to try to relive in some way or form with the recent technological improvements, you know.
Or on the classic server.
Oh yeah. Well, okay. Well, thanks a lot for the comment, Karazhan. Yeah, we'll see you in the next one. Let's move on to Mr. Adam Lee. And we're gonna take a bunch of them because right now, you can tell there's a lot of fucking Icecrown Citadel within the comments. I mean, we looked into them because we wanted to like snip them out and put them into the video. So in the general line, we've seen a lot of Icecrown Citadel. So let's take it like this. Let's take Adam Lee, Af Pete, Asian Cowboy, and Julio Fortes. Okay, we'll take them all four. Okay, so let's see. Adam Lee says, ICC, of course. That's when I used to tank and I enjoyed each boss fight and the different mechanics. After tons of attempts and finally downing the Lich King, it was the best feeling I can recall in my long history of playing the game. Well, if you were a tank back then, I'm assuming it was pretty awesome because you were like center stage, mano a mano with the Lich King himself, right? So it must have been an awesome experience. F. Pete says, for me, it has to be Icecrown Citadel. It was the first raid I ever took part in, and I love to rerun it on occasion. Still no zombie horse. Well,
that invincible.
Although I have to give a shout out for Battle for the Zaloror, as I love the new take Blizz took with it. Definitely worth it. I think a lot of people are still farming the horse. What's the name? You know the name of the skeleton horse?
Invincible.
Oh yeah, the Invincible. Jesus Christ, yeah, Invincible. I know a couple of people that have them, and let me tell you, I'm as jealous as this motherfucker over there. So let's see what Asian Cowboy says about ICC. ICC for sure, so much atmosphere, lore at the time, challenge. Arthas was the ultimate emo baddie. Emo baddie. And everyone was itching to finally get our hands on him. Man, I gotta tell you, yeah, I think like the Arthas story, like when we're looking at a raid that was based on probably the most awesome story they ever told. With Arthas and him being the Lich King. I think that's the best story they could have done the movie with that shit, but that's a whole other discussion.
Yeah.
Okay. I think it must have been awesome. I rerun in the past, same for farming the Invincible mount, but it wasn't the same, right? Although you could feel like the Lich King presence, the music, the whole setting with being like blue, ice-ish, cold and stuff like that. All of the bosses 100%. Inside, really awesome. Okay, and the another one for ICC is Julio Fortes, best raid. Well, when it comes to raids, I think lore and fun. Well, yeah. As far as the lore, Icecrown Citadel at the time, bringing the first heroic class Death Knight. Oh yeah, we forgot about the Death Knights, man. It was tied in with the raid, right?
A lot of feelings.
And the story in it was superb. Storytelling on Blizzard's part. Mechanics were not super troubling, but require racing your DPS mostly. But I mean, you died in the end and still beat the raid. What an experience. Man, I saw that, man. I think that was super awesome, man.
Yeah, when the first time I did it, I was like, wait, I won. Why am I dying?
Yeah, it was, I mean, I saw it like for the first time because I played in Wrath, but I was doing mostly arenas. That was it. No raiding, no nothing. But I heard people talking about it, and it was like, hey man, we all died, but at the end would still win. It was, I think, that first experience when you died, and then you, I don't know who came. Tyrion came along and finished the job. That was amazing. But anyways, thank you guys. Thank you four guys. Adam Lee, F. Pete, Asian Cowboy, and Julio Fortes. Now we have to go to another 4 of them, which are still with Icecrown Citadel, I believe. Let me just check. So we have Chris Sands, we have Dash, Chaotic Spark, and Eric Vicker. Yeah, so we're gonna take them all. Let's see, Chris Sands.
With Chris Sands. ICC, the Icecrown Citadel, is by far one of the most exciting raids of all times. All the lore and mechanics. I didn't have the pleasure to raid it because I started raiding until Legion. Oh, started raiding Legion. But I remember my first time there on a transmog run, I was amazed with everything. Undead dragons, monsters, and the architecture, cinematic, lore, mechanics, and if you play a DK, it really makes you feel like you're a part of it. I just love it. By the way, this is my favorite WoW channel. Keep up the good work. Well, thank you very much, Chris. And it just goes to show that even for somebody that wasn't playing in Wrath or wasn't reading in Wrath, ICC still holds a lot of sentimental value, and it still has a really nice raid design, really cool aesthetics. I mean, the whole expansion builds up to it, so I get how it feels. Yeah.
I mean, if he was playing a DK for sure, I can totally understand. I never played DK that much, but I know I understood the fantasy of it and the works behind it. And after doing reruns of Icecrown Citadel, it does make you feel more connected with the class, within the class to that world within the Icecrown Citadel raid. It was pretty awesome. And I can totally relate to you, Chris. I mean, I started raiding in BFA, so it's like for me, if I go on a rerun for Icecrown Citadel, it's just, you know, trying to capture that special moment which everybody seems to talk about. Yeah. It's the next one from Dash.
The next one from Dash. The best is the best raid is Icecrown Citadel by far. Killing the Lich King after all these years is just awesome, man. Oh, yeah, like
plain and simple. I think
it's all about Arthas, man. All about Arthas.
Yeah. One of the biggest appeal was killing Arthas.
Yeah,
I mean, come on, they built him up from Warcraft 3, and then, you know, we expected, we kind of, I don't know, people I think expected a bit from him in World of Warcraft Vanilla, then maybe Burning Crusade, but nothing happened. Everybody was kind of waiting him, and what about Arthas?
Yeah, what about the Lich King?
Yeah, exactly. And man, to finally get him over there and killing him, I think that was one of the biggest appeals for sure. And let's see, Chaotic Spark.
Chaotic Spark says, Icecrown, guys, I may still be new, but what got me into WoW was the Lich King and DKs. Gotta love my edgy boy.
Oh, for sure.
Just the dragon fight at the moment when his blade breaks. I love it. Well,
I don't know that moment. I don't remember that.
The dragon fight? Is this in Dragosa?
Probably.
I haven't done it.
Probably.
In a while.
There was like only one dragon, I think, in the raid, and that was like the dragon from the cinematic, which is Syndragosa, right?
Yeah.
So we have to like look it up to see exactly what's that favorite moment of yours. But maybe we can put it up on the screen as we talk about the shit. Because we don't know yet what we're gonna put in.
Can
the
you see it? It's right here. Look at that. Look at that. It's right there.
Maybe we're gonna find it. Anywho, we're gonna keep it on Icecrown Citadel. So I don't know if you guys noticed, but already I think we can call it a winner. We won't have a contest right now because ICC will take it off the charts.
Sweeping.
But let's see. The next 4 comments. Is it 4 though? No, it's the next 3 comments because we're gonna end with the ICC. But one is from Eric Vicorin, the other one is from Libriel, and the last one is from Isark. No, it's actually 2. Hold on. It's 2 more. Right, 2 more for ICC. So let's go. Eric says ICC hands down, motherfudgers. Motherfudgers.
Better than Motherflower.
It's the Phrygian again, Lich King. Hey, healing bosses, vampire elves. Oh yeah, that's where that vampire boss. I never seen another boss like that. Like a vampire themed boss and mechanics and stuff like that with life.
It was in Violet Citadel, I think, in the Legion. We had it again.
But Violet Citadel was introduced in Lich King. I mean, it's from Lich King. I mean, you cannot tell, hey, Legion was the inventor of that. They just took the Violet Citadel and shit like that. But let's say Vampire Elves, Syndra, freaking Gosa, also Shadowmourn. Well, I think it was an epic moment to see Arthas pull out that big-ass sword, right?
No, Shadowmourn is a legendary axe, man, from Wrath. Too many arenas.
Is it? Come on, man, Shadowmourn, are you sure?
Yeah, it's a 2-handed quest that you have to gather all sorts of cool little things and you make it into like a big ass legendary axe.
Alright, well, shoot me now. Frostmourne, not Shadowmourn. Jesus fucking Christ. Okay. Well, Eric, I get your point, man. And shoot me for not knowing. Let's take it to Libriel, who says ICC is the best raid ever in World of Warcraft. The story was really intense, how Arthas became the evil guy and we had to free him. Okay, but nonetheless, I think like the story of we freeing him and like the whole story of Arthur was actually in Warcraft 3.
Yeah. Like
in the raid and in Wrath of the Lich King, the WoW expansion, we just actually like finalized this story. But nonetheless, the cinematic after the kill was one of the most emotional cinematics ever. Goddamn right, man. I shed too many tears for that. I was studying during that time and nearly failed all my exams because I was playing Wrath of the Lich King.
Sounds about right. Sounds about right.
I think that happened in a lot of our community's life story. I think that when Lich King came out, that was like 2008, I believe. A lot of motherfuckers were at their universities, colleges, whatever. A lot of exams were failed due to that expansion, man, and that raid, so I can totally get you. In general, there were many really great raids in Wrath of the Lich King. Naxxramas and Ulduar were awesome too. Naxxramas because of the nostalgia, and Ulduar because of the design and story. Well, this one kind of lets it into our next topic on raids, because there's a bunch of people who said Ulduar.
Yeah, I mean, Ulduar is a very, very clear favorite because, well, we get our second old god fight in Ulduar. So let's see what Isark says.
Isark, yes.
Have all these people mentioned ICC never played Ulduar? It smokes ICC. Well, there you go. You've heard it here, folks.
There's more on ICC. We'll take Isark. Let's take Javier Portanda as well.
Yeah, Javier. I'm sorry if I'm not French and I cannot speak it, but there we go. Damn.
It's not French. It's Spanish.
Javier? Really?
Yeah, it's Javier Portanda.
Okay, you can shoot me too now.
Okay.
Oh damn, I'm a little late on this comment race, but I gotta love Ulduar. It was so fun and complex. First hard mode mechanics, great lore, and you know, old gods. Well, yes. Yogg-Saron, man. Jesus, that was a crazy fight.
I know, but let me tell you, that was the first time I ever heard of old gods. I never knew like the whole story with Cthulhu. I didn't know shit about shit on lore, but that was the first time. It's like the old gods, and then I started looking up on what it means and shit. And yeah, fucking Yogg-Saron, Jesus fucking Christ. It was eye-opening because I didn't know about the Titans and shit like that. It was, for me, it was like the Warcraft 3 stories, right? Just basically, and then there was the whole shit about the Titans and all of the works they did and behind. That was amazing. I redid that as well. There's some good transmog farming over there for Paladin. And I did that a couple of times and I was amazed. And let's see what Michelle has to say.
Well, Michelle says, Frost Decay, period. I guess this is the comment for the last video.
Yeah, it's in one total one.
Well, let's get all of it anyway. The lore, the class fantasy, and ease of play, but hard to really master. The best raid is and will always be Ulduar. Well, there you go.
Yep.
The number of bosses and the mechanics they brought to the fights were amazing. The beauty of the raid is unmatched by any other raid in the game. It's I can see all of this, man. I didn't raid Ulduar at the time. I just ran transmog runs. But even so, it was really cool architecture design. I think that was the first Titan structure raid that we ever did in the game. Yeah,
I think a lot of people
are weird. Like this is Warcrafty. What's going on here?
That's what I'm saying. It's like I think for a lot of people it was the first introduction with the Titans and the old gods and shit like that. And I think for a lot of people, I think Michelle too, it was an introduction to hey man, this story is way beyond what we already knew.
Not a lot of people managed to do Cthulhu back in vanilla, so I can see how this was the first old god experience to a lot of them. So. Yep. And lastly, for Ulduar as well, we have our boy Praise.
What up, Praise?
Let's see what's going on here. I want to thank my mom for making it possible to appear in this video. Thank you, Praise Mama. Nice video as always. Best raid has to be Ulduar. I love old god stuff and this was just such a well-designed raid. I get shivers. Close contenders are Karazhan and Black Temple. Ooh, I like those close contenders, but Ulduar, yeah, like the theme, the grandeur and the spec of the whole thing was really big, it was really large. Like I think when I went for the Ulduar for the first time, I really felt like, oh my god, the world is so much bigger than I thought it was.
That's exactly my point. There's definitely a really big love for ICC and Ulduar apparently, but again, Ulduar was within the Wrath of the Lich King expansion, so it has to be said. Maybe at some point we'll talk about the best expansion ever. I think that would be a really interesting talk. Who knows? Maybe at the end of the video. Okay, let's move on a bit. I think we're done with the ICCs and the Ulduars, but we can again say it for now. ICC just takes the cake because everybody. I mean, a big majority in the comments were about ICC.
Can we get some hotness in here?
Oh yeah, we gotta get some hot, spicy shit. And the first one is from I'm Legendary Mike, and he said, I came into the game in TBC and didn't really start raiding until Kara, and I have fond memories of Blackwind Ascent and Firelands. I didn't raid ACC, so I have to go with Firelands. Also, Nathaniel Poland's best rates best raid is Firelands. It has a lot of good boss mechanics, flying in hitting the feet of Lord Royal and jumping to Alec Web, and at the end of the freaking Ragnaros. Well, I don't know how to pronounce all those, but I did that. I did that back in Kata, like after it was really easy to do. I think in the last patch in 5.4.3, when Dragon Soul was already out, and it was easy. I can agree with both Mike and Nathaniel. I think Firelands was an amazing fucking raid. And that was the thing, because a lot of people kind of felt bad initially because, they bring in Ragnaros back and all that shit. But it was such a different beast. And the thing is, I never encountered a raid within WoW which had such a prominent color scheme. I mean, you literally felt you were in fire. Okay?
Yeah,
it was so
really cool.
Orangey,
overwhelming.
Yellowish. Yeah, man.
So much hotness, a lot of steam and smoke and stuff.
Yeah. It was an amazing raid, and I can totally relate with you guys. I think it can definitely be a contender for the best raid in WoW. But again, ICC took the cake. So, thank you for the comments, guys. Hope to see you in the next ones as well with the next topic. Let's see. The next one is from
The Failed Wizards. That would be Antorus, of course, since that was when Arcane was the most fun and the to play.
Because I just nipped a piece from his comment because he was replying with the best class in WoW, Arcane Mage, that is out of love and stuff like that. But for him is Antorus, and I know you rated Antorus.
Oh, I did. No, Antorus was.
I didn't.
One of the reasons why the recent and the Legion raids weren't at the top of my list is because the old ones had a bigger impact as an impressionable little nerd. But I have to say that Antorus, dude, you like fly and raid across dimensions there. You fight the fucking world soul of Argus.
I only see that on YouTube.
No, Antorus is good. I'm still farming it right now for my Shaman transmog. You gotta know that. And I get it. Antorus was a big raid. I loved it as well.
All right, but also Arcane Mage apparently was really the shit in that raid. So
I was just smashing things as hard as I could. I don't know. No Arcane Mages.
Okay, let's move on to Mr. Soul Eater, which said the most iconic would be Molten Core.
Oh,
we got an old school
one.
motherfucker here. Molten Core, I think he was referring to the old school one, not the.
I think it was the first raid most people ever did.
Well, let's carry on. So ICC for those who didn't play vanilla, but Molten Core will always hold a special place in the vanilla player's hearts. I can understand that. Getting a tune, the story built up behind it, plus trying to organize a 40-man, trying to get Ventrilo to work and people on it. There will be nothing like it ever again. I mean, that will probably just hit first of all in the nostalgia factor.
Yeah.
A lot of people, I think, started their first raiding experience with Molten Core. I know I didn't play vanilla, but I recached a little bit of that when they did in WoD, the anniversary, the 10-year anniversary, I think it was, and they reintroduced Molten Core, but at a decent level. And it felt, I mean, I know I was playing it with my friends, and I was thinking, Jesus fucking Christ, how did people ever manage to do this shit in 40 men as hard as it was back then?
I know, right? That's. I mean, the Molten Core was the first raid that I ever did. I went in, and Ragnaros was always the signature boss for a raid, right? Ragnaros is like the iconic raid boss. And yeah, the lore behind it and the feeling that you go through Blackrock Depths and you go into a portal inside the core of the planet is like, this is, I mean, Firelands is cool, but I mean, it all started with Molten Core going into like this caverny lava place. Was really...
I get it. It was a huge moment for a lot of the players, and I totally get it. Respect Soul Eater. Now let's see.
Next one is from Yang Vincent. Best raid in my opinion is Dragon Soul. Whoa. Back to Kata. The theme of the raid is just playing great. 2 generals of the old gods, Twilight Drakes, and the legendary Deathwing himself, including the boss fight on his back.
And the big swirl.
Popping zits and then hitting his claws. The conjoined combat with the 4 aspects are also pretty cool, inspired many cool tactics. I think Dragon Soul was a turning point for WoW's lore when all the dragon aspects kind of lost their immortality and the power.
Yep.
And there are mixed feelings about the Deathwing fight because everybody and their mother expected to fight like a big ass dragon.
Yeah, it was controversial. I rated that. I think that was I rated that because there was a weapon that dropped back in Kata. There was the Gurthalak sword. I think Keratin remembers that one. And I did raid. I tried to find, you know, it was par. I did mostly LF4, but, you know, sometimes I got in. The thing about the Dragon Soul fight, it was a bit controversial. I think a lot of people don't like it. Just because you mentioned in this fighting on his back and then him swirling around and whatever, and then basically fighting his head and some claws at the end and shit. It was because, as Flame said, most of us, me included, we were expecting a super huge dragon to fight. I mean, let's think about, I don't know, the Onyxia fight, but on a bigger scale, on an open playing field, and see his whole body to be able to fight. Nevertheless, there were some cool mechanics over there. I didn't hate that particular raid, but I think that the most sour feel from that was the actual length of which we had to deal with that patch and raid. It's like the biggest so far for them until they released Pandaria. It's like super boring. So that adds into the flavor of it too. But nonetheless, man, it was a great raid for some. It was an if you want for others. Now let's see what Ice Coffee has to say. And I think we have like two of them. Okay, we have two of them, Ice Coffee and Outsider.
Outsider?
Okay. Outsider.
Marcelian says Outsider.
Okay, so let's see. This is from Ice Coffee. Best raid moment for me was taking down Hellscream and Mr. Pandaria on my Fury Warrior. Love the show. Love you too, man. And let's see Outsider as well, because it's linked in. You know me, I already talk a lot about Mr. Pandaria, so Siege of Orgrimmar was a really good raid for me, and it had really fun mechanics. Imagine being able to be in the Revolution, Siege, important city of a faction. It was a crazy idea, but it was really fun. A nice video, keep up Outsider here. Outsider! God damn it, I messed it up. So, Siege of Orgrimmar, man. There's like 2 comments on Siege of Orgrimmar. I love that shit too.
Oh,
in LFR, of course.
Yeah. I didn't play in MoP and Kata, so I only did Siege as a farmable raid. But the first time that I went in was really crazy, and I knew about the raids. My friends usually talked about it a lot. I was like, oh my god, they're hitting my favorite capital. They're killing the Orc War Chief. No, but he needed to go. Really.
He lost it, man. He lost it. I mean, it was for me. Feeling a bit badass, to be honest, as an Alliance player back then, like storming Orgrimmar and actually having, you know, to put in place Garrosh, who was basically a really huge figure, a huge portent of the Horde up until he went like super crazy. A lot of people flocked to him. It's like, this is the true Horde.
I liked pre-mob Garrosh.
He was really cool, right? And I don't know, it felt super fun. I don't know which side you guys rated on, Ice Coffee and Outsider, but for me as an Alliance player, it was definitely a wonderful moment, especially at the end. Okay, next one.
Next one.
Our board Sliced. Best raid for me, Black Temple. Why? It didn't have amazing mechanics or extremely fancy tactics that we have in the new raids, but it was what it got me into raiding. The setting and fighting Illidan and getting to know a lot of friends during raid time makes it the best raid for me. I think that's a really good point, because a lot of the favorite raids are actually the ones which you got into, like in the social aspect.
Yeah, it has emotional.
It has that emotional attachment, definitely. And I know in the last episode you talked about Black Temple as well being your favorite.
Yeah.
And of course, like back then, the mechanics and tactics, like he points out a really good one here, because they didn't have like all of these different and dynamic the mechanics that we have now, which are awesome.
Technology wasn't as advanced then to do cool things.
But I think what really got people back then into having like a favorite like Black Temple or even like ICC was the fact that it was either their first experience doing that shit, and also getting into the social aspect of it, like, you know, saying, hey man, that homeboy is good, let me get him on my party and doing dungeons.
Plus on an iconic boss, man, Illidan. I mean, if you take Arthas away, who do you have on the second spot, right? It has to be Illidan.
Yeah, definitely. It was like the 2 big baddies that we knew about. Okay, well, let's move along to
Brandon McLeod. I think we had Brandon last week as well, right?
Okay.
I mean, I feel like Black Temple and ICC are easy picks. Well, doesn't Brandon know something? But personally, I still to this day think Nighthold was actually the best raid. Not a single fight felt bad to re-clear, and I'll never forget the Illidan phase on Mythic. Man, Nighthold is a very specific mention, man. I was surprised when I read this. Nighthold was a really good raid. I mean, of course, we have another iconic boss, Cooldown, at the end.
Oh yeah. I never did it, but...
And it was another turning point in the lore in Legion because we had all this Illidan built up for like 2.5 patches. And it was like, what's going on with Illidan? We start with Illidan at the beginning of the expansion. Well, where is he? And then you finally free him at the end of the raid. That was crazy, man. And I love it. Every boss was so fun. You had Icecrown, which is an iconic Warcraft 3 boss.
I know that.
I get it, man. I get it. I'm fully behind Nighthold. It was an amazing raid.
I'm really curious, why don't other people mention Nighthold? Maybe not a lot of them did it. And let's check out the last one for today, which is from Pixelated Twix. I'm a huge fan of Wrath of the Lich King raids, but there is something about Karazhan. It would be the lifelong friendships I forged with my guild raiding team and the war stories we can share, but the raid itself is so different from anything Blizzard ever did. Well, there is Ulduar and ICC, still iconic. I mean, was Karazhan a raid? Wasn't it a big-ass dungeon?
It was a 5-man raid back in TBC.
5-man raid, okay.
It was crazy long, it was crazy big, it had this big... A feeling to it is like you kept going. That's how I felt it, because it was the raid that I did most in TBC, Karazhan, and you kept going up and up. There was like boss after boss after encounter, and they were difficult. It was so cramped but still so big. I don't know what they did, but the fact that it was so successful kind of shows in kind of shows in the remake that we had in Legion, right?
I played the Legion version and I thought it was awesome. But again, like Pixelated Twix, similar to Sliced, I think, again, Karazhan, as different as it was and as huge as it was, I think for him or her, it was another moment where, as he states, it could be the lifelong friendships, right?
Yeah,
that it forged
the social connections, man.
Oh, man. I mean, Ian, god damn it, man. You seen this shit? The social stuff, man, bring that back. God damn it, man. But anyways, we're derailing here. We're derailing. Okay.
It's another topic.
Anyways, thank you very much, Pixelated Twix, for leaving a comment here. Hope to see you in the next one. And thanks everybody for chipping in with the comments and the discussion for this week's topic. But the next week's topic is even a juicier one. What is the best World of Warcraft expansion to date? What's your favorite and why? What's your favorite, fool?
My favorite World of Warcraft expansion is the Burning Crusade.
Oh, you're gonna get a lot of love for that.
Yeah, it's because I actually started with the expansion, and it's when I actually figured out the game more or less. I kind of knew what quests and raids and dungeons and battlegrounds were. I wasn't too much into arena at the beginning, but I was really into the raiding, really into the story lore, and it had a lot of orcs. So what's not to love for me?
I get it, man. I get it. And there's a lot of people who's gonna like back you up with GBC. Although I'm expecting a lot of Wrath of the Lich King. As ICC was the most voted raid, I think Wrath of the Lich King.
You would imagine, yeah.
No, but for me it was Cataclysm. Okay, I'm gonna get a lot of hate for it. I know. For me, Cataclysm was the best expansion, hands down. There's a lot of reasons for this. I'm just gonna go between a couple of them. First thing, we still retain the old talents. I hate this Excel bullshit that I introduced in mobs, so that's one plus for me. Although they were streamlined a bit and there were cookie cutter, there still was the points, there still was a sort of a progression system over there. And second, the raids were not that bad. I mean, apart from, you know, Dragon Soul, which was iffy, all the raids, all the raids were pretty goddamn awesome. The dungeons were pretty awesome. They upped their game with the questing and story from Wrath of the Lich King moving to Cataclysm. A little bit of attention with the zones because they were not really that connected, but the overall vibe was pretty amazing. But the biggest reason why Cataclysm for me was the best expansion was PvP. I believe Cataclysm till this day retains the best balance in arenas and RPGs WoW has ever had. And that was like for me the biggest time I played my whole of my arenas and RPGs and stuff. It was amazing, and they kind of emphasized, although Cataclysm is being hated for the LFR feature.
Yeah.
I know it's hated for that, but hey, that's not important, right? What's important here? What's important about this video, man?
Well, what's important about this video is what you guys think and what was your favorite expansion. You gotta let us know, man. You gotta hit that comment section below. Tell us what was your favorite expansion and why? More importantly.
Why?
And we will feature your comment in the next video, of course, which is going to be next week. But what will we have until next week?
Yeah, we'll just keep close on Marcelian Online because on Wednesday we're going to release the brand new Discipline Priest guide, complete with all of the information corrected and some more tips and tricks with the contribution of the Warcraft Priest and all that. You'll see it on Wednesday. But anyways, thank you so much for watching this video. See you super soon. Peace out, baby.
Have a good one.